want me scared, you want me weak, you want me brain dead and asleep. You want us trapped while you all laugh behind the scenes. You want us sick, you think we're dumb. You want us blind and you want us drunk. You want us poor while you get more of everything. But you don't get to tell me what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell me what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so I don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. You want us tricked, you want us numb. You want us scared and you want us stung. You want us shot and you want us fought in every way. You want our minds, you want our time. You want us framed up in your crime. I hope you know that it's time to go and we're taking names. 'Cause you don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell us what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. So don't believe a single word you say. Want you out, we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. We say la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we say la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we say la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we say la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, good, you can actually see the pulsating avatar. Welcome to the Viva Fry Show. I'm trying something new, but we are going to start with a clip. Speaking of lies, lies, and lies, here is so-called Dr. Birx wearing a face mask for a virtual interview.
Dr. Birx, I know I have a limited amount of time. I want to begin with this. You know, COVID hospitalizations in North Texas, they just hit a record, more than 3,000 for the first time on Sunday. That's a 97% increase here since November 1st. What do you think about the coronavirus response in Texas?
You know, I'm just really pleased that the governor...
I'm wearing a face mask for a digital interview. I try to be forgiving. I try to be understanding. This crazy lunatic, and I'm hesitating not to use the B word here, but it would be very funny, fitting from a comedic value. This loony biatch is wearing a face mask for a computer interview. Now, maybe there's 50 people right in front of her handling the cameras in her office. You know damn well this idiot lunatic took off the mask the second the interview. And look how it fits. She's an idiot, a so-called doctor, who's now, by the way, a senior medical advisor at some company called Active Pure, Air Pure, something. I'll let it play for a bit.
Those gates in practice and his policies, so that when counties increase their cases, they go into a mask mandate. They go into restricted indoor dining, restricted bars, and really telling the Texans that they have to change their behavior.
Because I am a raging lunatic and actually a fascist tyrant. Somebody's got to do a voiceover, because when you're wearing a face mask, you see, you can't actually see what the person is saying. I'm done with this. She's a lunatic. Objective lunatic. They were all lunatics. You talk about like science, then you talk politics, then you talk about political science, and then you talk about political theater. And what we live through, I go back and I watch these videos every now and again, and it enrages me. Like, it, not in a good way, like in a never getting past that anger way. I was listening to Paul Manafort on Tucker Carlson talking about how he let go of the bad memories and the bad feelings, because what good is it going to do to him going forward? I'm not yet there, people, but maybe one day I will be bigger and better than the Viva of today. Before we get into the show, by the way, we're starting today with Mocha Bezigran, who was supposed to be on yesterday. Flight was delayed. We're going to talk about China infiltrating Canada and, you know, idiot lunatic so-called doctors wearing face masks. No, we're going to talk about that. So we're going to start the show with that. And then what we're going to get into, I've been digging a little deep with the help of someone from our locals community to interpret the Kamala Harris campaign expenses data. There's a little bit of update out of New York. There's a little bit of update about World War III. We'll get to all of that in a second, people. But first, the sponsors of today's show. Very fitting that we should learn from the past in order to, change our behavior in the future. But people, if you don't, history, economics, the great works of literature, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution. Did you study these things in school? Probably not. And if you did, you might have forgotten it. I didn't study these things at school. I studied them in later life, and I will never forget them. Even if you did, it might be time for a refresher. Time and technology have changed a lot of things, but they haven't changed the basics, fundamental truths about the world and our place in it. That is why I'm so excited to work with Hillsdale College, who's offering more than 40 free online courses in the most important and enduring subjects. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, who has amazing, insightful observations of life. The stories of the book of Genesis, because it was and remains the first and truest book of human nature and self-help, if you don't, believe in the biblical side of it. And you can learn about the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, and the history of the Christian church with Hillsdale College's online courses, all available for free. I personally recommend that you sign up for Marxism, Socialism, and Communism. It might teach you a little bit about the progressive left of today. The brand new online course is unlike anything Hillsdale has ever produced. Over the course of 6 documentary-style episodes, you'll hear from Hillsdale professors of history, politics, and economics as they look at Marx's life and writings, the misery and brutality in the Soviet Union, the atrocities of communist China, and the proliferation of cultural Marxism in America. You'll explore how ideas of the American politics are rooted in Marxism and how they differ from Marx's thought. It's vital that we take these ideas and historical figures seriously so that we don't see the injustice and evil inherent in them repeat itself again. Better equipped knowledge to defeat it, because we see it materializing, metastasizing right now in real time. Marxism, Socialism, and Communism. Go to hillsdale.edu/Viva and enroll. No cost, easy to get started. Hillsdale.edu/Viva to register. And one more time, Hillsdale.edu/Viva to register. And while you're getting your brain in shape, get your body healthy as well with the fine folks at Brickhouse Nutrition. When the doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition announce a Black Friday sale, it's a big event. Now's the time to save a bundle while you reboot and optimize your health. This is the biggest sale of the year on everything. That includes Field of Greens, the life-changing superfruit and vegetable drink that promises your doctor will notice improved health or your money back. The Black Friday sale also includes Lean, the physician-formulated weight loss phenomenon that helps turn and burn excess fat into energy. Even Radiance, the collagen accelerator with 4 times more health and anti-aging power than that influencer collagen. Yeah, that's on sale too. From weight loss to sleep aids, the creatine to whole foods, They're all on sale. Visit fieldofgreens.com. Use promo code VIP. Fieldofgreens.com. Get your health in order, people, and go to the website. And thank you to our sponsors who help keep everything running, support companies that love you, that respect you as a customer, and also that get you into better shape and help you in life. All right, we're going to start with Mocha Bezigran. You may or may not know him. He's a Canadian journalist. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to get to 30,000. I know he's in Canada now. Mocha, I'm bringing you in. 3, 2, 1. Sir,
how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Mocha, so you're up in Canada.
Yes.
We don't need to get into the thick of it, but your origin story, how did you get to where you are, just so that people know who you are and where to find you, and then we get into the thick of it.
Well, I have a long origin story, but should I go all the way back to the time I was born, or?
Yes, well, because I an accent.
I was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and then when I was 1 year old, my parents immigrated to Canada, to Toronto, and I grew up in Toronto, and then around the age of 7, my parents went back to Turkey. So I grew up about 10 years, continued to grow up in Turkey. And then when I was 18, I decided to come back to Canada. And I came back to Canada. I studied broadcasting in Toronto. And then here we are. I worked at various independent media companies and on various projects. And since the last 2 years, I've been doing my own business, my own media company, and I've moved to Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah.
And I've been living here. Yeah, it is very cold. It is smaller. It is less headache compared to Toronto. So I'm not disappointed. And I've been covering the Quds story, the Khalistan infiltration, and so on and so forth, among other unique stories. And, when I cover stories, I cover them on the ground. I'm always on the ground. I just came from New Zealand, for example, where the Khalistan group was holding a referendum to secede from India. They're not doing this in India. They're doing this in mostly Commonwealth countries. So I hope that's a sufficient background.
That is, now I realize that I've been saying Bezigran, but it's Bezirgan.
Yeah, well, you've been saying the correct version compared to most other people. I think that is because of your French accent. People think I'm French too. They say, "Oh, are you from Quebec?" And I clarify, I explain.
Very cool. All right, well, you know what? We had on David Craden on Friday talking a bit about the Khalistani issue in Canada. While we're talking, it won't be the bulk of everything, but so you were in New Zealand.
Yes.
And the Khalistani, which is the I don't know if we would call them an Indian diaspora, but it's the separatist movement that is now in diaspora in various other countries that are not India. What do they do? What's going on in New Zealand? They're holding on the street referendums as to whether or not that area of India should separate from India.
Right. So they want to separate Punjab, a state that has borders with Pakistan in India. They want to create Khalistan. Khalistan, in translation, it means the land of the pure. They see themselves as the pure. And the organization doing all these referendums is Sikhs for Justice. And it is a US-Canada-based organization. And Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a member of it before he was assassinated, allegedly, by Indian agents. And basically, they go around the world. The organizers, they travel to US, they travel to New Zealand, travel to Australia, travel wherever to conduct these unofficial referendums, to collect and to show how many people are voting, because there is the perception that not many people are in favor of this Khalistan, And it is true. Official local Sikhs, for example, in New Zealand, or local Indian organizations have come opposing this activity, saying that it could damage India-New Zealand relationships. And I had an exclusive interview with Sikhs for Justice President Avtar Singh Panu on this matter, and his response was that our people are scared of business relations being damaged, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's not going to affect anything. So yeah, basically, but Seeks for Justice as a group is a very highly questionable group. For example, one of their Ottawa organizers, Santok Sinkela, he served about 10 years in jail, in a Montreal, Quebec jail, after conspiring to bomb Air India Flight 112, departing from New York in 1986. And Mr. Santok, he was convicted and he was sentenced to life until 10 years later. The conviction was overturned. A stay of proceedings was ordered due to disclosure matters, and he was let off. And now he is working with Seeks for Justice. And basically, the previous referendum this Khalistan organization held was in Calgary, my hometown, just a few months before. And in Calgary, they dedicated, and this is the other flight that was bombed. So
one was conspiracy to bomb, the other one was actually bombed. And
yes, and then there's another one that they tried to bomb, but the time went off. It exploded at the airport and killed 2 baggage handlers in Japan.
Wow. All right. And then these there is no other word for them, but at one point adjudicated terrorists, for whatever the reason, are released because of disclosure violations or procedural issues, and now are walking these streets freely in Canada, but also founding or participating in organizations that seek to promote the Khalistani movement.
That's right. And CBC, the mainstream media in Canada, have been completely incompetent, giving full disclosure to viewers. For example, they interviewed Santok Sinkela. They interviewed him about foreign interference, but they did not tell people his past history. And they did not tell people his connections to Babar Khalsa, a terrorist organization, recognized not just by India, but also the Canadian government. And Mr. Santok came to Calgary for that referendum event in July 28. I was there, and he was presented an award by another formerly charged conspirator. And this guy was Ajaib Singh Bagri. He was at the World Sikh Organization founding convention in New York in 1984, where he pledged that he will not rest until 50,000 Hindus are dead. And this individual was later charged for his involvement in the Flight 182 Air India bombing.
Mm-hmm.
And the charge was later dropped. He was acquitted, but this individual gave an award to Santok Sinkela, conspirator of Flight 112, and all this is being done at the referendum dedicated to Talvinder Singh Parmar, the other co-conspirator of Air India bombings, Flight 182, and the other bombing that killed 2 baggage handlers. So, and at this event, they had the parents of a suicide bomber in India who killed Punjab's first minister. And they explicitly state that they are the offsprings of the 2 Sikh bodyguards who killed India's Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. They're saying we are the offsprings of these bombers, these assassins, and we revere Talvinder Parmar, etc. So that's the inside skeleton of this organization, going around freely, traveling among 5 countries, organizing these referendums. But it has a very questionable history. And I asked them when I was in New Zealand, did you not have any trouble getting into the country? And they said, no, it was very smooth. The government supports us. And I believe this to be true.
Well, so when Creighton was on last week, and he says, not only does it seem that there have no issues in Canada, but the Trudeau government is actually taking an adverse position to the government of India and siding with an entity with actual terrorist history and even present. All right. What is the what is their relationship or interactions with the government, with the Trudeau government or the Canadian government right now?
Well, the Council General of Sikhs for Justice, Gurpativan Singh Panu, have said that he had regular contact with Justin Trudeau, and he's been on media, he's been on CTV, CBC, giving interviews, and he's been very calm in his interviews. He's very, very calm, straightforward. But he has other videos in Punjab language. He's making threats, or what we could interpret as threats. Our CMP certainly interpreted as threats last year. So he's making videos regularly saying, "Do not fly Air India. Don't be on Air India on this date. Don't travel on this flight on this date." And in last year, our CMP investigated the threats against Air India, and he maintains that this is free speech. This is not; these are not threats. We're just boycotting them, etc. But to say don't travel. Yeah.
A specific temporal boycott. Do boycott them on this flight. That's wild.
Exactly. But they also say things like they have slogans like "Kill India" economically, "Kill Modi" politically. So they think they are smart with words, but
no, it's the proverb of the capitalist will sell the communist the rope with which the communist will hang them. And we're like, yeah, we'll. It seems that Trudeau gives certain people free speech, but not others. And misgendering is hate speech. But what could be construed as actual threats, that's freedom of speech. So I guess that's the segue now. You're also covering Chinese, what's going on in Canada with the Chinese infiltration, the spying, the manipulation, the undisclosed names on a list of sitting MPs in Canada who have been tainted, if not outright corrupted, by Chinese interference.
Well, I have not been able to cover it to a great extent. I've been busy with the Khalistan matter, but I am working on a story regarding Pierre Poilievre. Why is he not getting the clearance? And he explains himself. He says, "Well, I don't want to be,
bound by whatever
How can you talk about it if you don't know about it anyway? I don't know. Just something doesn't seem right there. So I'm looking into that.
Let me see if I can
find it. We gotta know.
There was a video of Trudeau. Yeah, no, Trudeau was So for the broader context is Pierre Poilievre has not been given clearance to see the names of the politicians. How many are there? Are there 12 that they know of now?
Probably more than 12. Yes.
12 at least is the lowball estimate, downplaying it until we find out more. Politicians, some conservatives, some liberals, or at least it involves some conservatives as well, who have been either wittingly or unwittingly Chinese assets for Chinese interference from the People's Party of China, not the People's Party of Canada, the Chinese Communist Party. So the only problem with the PPC's acronym is it sounds too much like the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So there's been confirmed interference. We now know it. We went over it thoroughly with Creighton last week. It goes back to Chinese scientists leaving to Wuhan, training Chinese soldiers on Canadian soil, Chinese interests buying up mining companies, real estate. And then there is interference in elections, busing Chinese students to go vote for, who is it, Handong?
Mm-hmm. I think it was in Toronto, yeah.
In Toronto. And then there was another, the Chinese police stations that have been established in Canada to harass and intimidate Canadian Chinese, either citizens or immigrants, so that they can coerce them to do certain things by threats on their family in China. Apparently, Pierre Poilievre is not being given clearance to see the names because he won't sign. What is it? It's basically an NDA, like a gag order?
Yeah.
And so and now is there... I'm sort of getting very cynical that it's sort of like he's exploiting of that to say, well, now I can't look into it and find out the degree to which the Conservative Party might also be tainted by this scandal.
I don't know. There might be many reasons, but I'm looking into it. And, it's not just Chinese interference. They are also alleging Indian interference, and they're alleging other government interference as well. And how good has been... Well, here's another question for you. Harjit Sajjan, for example. He was the Minister of Defense, and now he's the Minister of Emergency Preparedness. He's part of the public safety Um, he's part of the public safety. What is it called?
Not the commission.
No, but yeah. So Harjit Sajjan, he has access to these documents. He has security clearance, and he is connected to World Security Organization's founding president, who was interrogated regards to
Not just that.
1985 Air India bombings.
He was the minister. He was the minister of defense who says we're no longer training Chinese soldiers on Canadian soil. That was the same Harjit.
And he's been proven to be dishonest when he took credit for a military operation in Afghanistan.
What are his connections to the Khalistani movement or the activist organization?
Well, he have many connections, and I have created a big chart about it. And he has family connections to the World Sikh Organization's founding president, and Gyan Singh Sandhu. And this individual was interrogated by our CMP Disaster Task Force in 1985 in regards to the Air India bomb. And this individual has connections with family members of Talvinder Singh Parmar. And not just only that, but Harjit Sajjan hired the son of World Sikh Organization President Prem Vinning, who is known as a power broker, political power broker. And he hired his son, and Amarjit Soy, mayor of Edmonton, he hired Prem's other son. And I think if you show the people the chart that I created, they will quickly understand what's going on, level of infiltration.
Where can I find it? Or can you?
I'll find it for you right now.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
on my Twitter.
Okay. See if you can find it, because in the meantime, I'm just going to actually pull up, and you can share it in the private chat, and then I'll bring it up.
Sounds good.
I want to show up Harjit. It's an amazing thing. I'm not. I don't know if someone would say I'm not a nationalist. He's born Harjit Singh Sajjan. He's 54. He looks a little older than 54. Born in Bombay, Punjab, India. He's now nationality Canadian. We don't have. In the States, even naturalized citizens can become everything except for the president. I don't know if that's true of prime minister up in Canada, but it will always cause for concern of allegiance when you have people born in foreign countries who you become naturalized citizens as to what interests you're going to favor once in government, if you ever get into government in that country to which you become a citizen. I didn't realize a lot of this. Actually, it's kind of shocking. Okay, let me open this up here. This is beautiful. Hold on, let me get it in. I'm gonna get it in incognito because I've shared my cell number a couple of times today, and if I accidentally do that, I'll have to get a new number. And I like my number; it's a good number. Here, check this out. The extensive influence of the World Sikh Organization. You got the WHO and the WSO over the Canadian government is significant, particularly through its founder Gyan Singh Sandhu, who was interrogated by the RCMP Disaster Task Force in connection with the 85 Air India bombings. He was co-founder of the Khalsa Credit Union, along with Kulwar Singh Parmar. I'm going to mess up a lot of these names. Liberal power broker Prem Vinning, and previously charged Ripubana Singh Malik, who was assassinated in 2022. Given the depth of the World Sikh Organization's involvement in Canadian government and politics, Sandhu's personal takes, and WSO's previous attempts during public inquiries to shift blame for the Air India bombing from Khalistani Sikhs to the Indian government, it's difficult to take anything the Trudeau NDP says at face value. Oh, we're going to get into Jagmeet Singh's connection here, but so this. Now, not to say that this reminds me of the meme, but let's go here. Okay, so walk us through this.
All right, so in the middle, you see World Sikh Organization, and on the top of it, you see his founder, Gyan Singh Sandhu. And Gyan Singh Sandhu is the father of Harjinder Singh Sandhu, who is a PhD in computer science. And he's married to Harjit Sajjan's sister. If you go down below, yeah.
Hold on. This guy right up here, the founder, he's the he's the grandfather of Harjit, or not related to Harjit?
He is his son is married to Harjit's sister.
His son is married to this guy's sister. Okay,
right.
Fine. All right.
And then Harjit
this is crazy.
Harjit is the son of Kundan Sajjan. And Kundan Sajjan is a former World Sikh Organization executive. Harjit Sajjan hired the son of another World Sikh Organization executive, Prem Winning. And Prem Winning's son, Manjeet Winning, is married to Simran Sajjan Winning, who is cousin to Harjeet and Amarjeet. And Amarjeet Soy hired Winning's other son, Gurpreet Winning.
This is while in Canadian government.
Yes. So they hired their own,
Well, they're in their own internal executives, their own board.
Right.
How many
family
of these people?
members.
Do you know how many on this list have been either accused of, convicted of, or I guess acquitted? How many have been charged with any crimes or acts of terrorism or aiding and abetting?
No charges, but most of them have been, Canadians have not been loving them for their conduct in politics. You got George Jahal, for example. He's known as a poach pirate.
What does that mean?
Well, during the elections, he's a Liberal MP, and during the elections in Calgary, he was going to neighbors' homes and removing the opposition's brochures, their advertisement. So he was caught on camera, so he became known as a poach pirate.
This is insane, actually. So Jagmeet Singh here, the leader of the NDP, he is sibling. His brother is Gurtan Singh Dhaliwal. What does he have? And he is
he was also involved with World Sikh Organization as an executive.
The World Sikh Organization, let me double check. Has it been outlawed or recognized as a bad entity by governments?
No. His founder was not allowed to travel to India to a certain year, and then the Indian government cleared them to travel. Right now, they are operating, sort of beyond public scrutiny, or they've been able to do this until I started raising awareness. They have too many politicians, too many family members involved in Canadian politics. And, when we scrutinize Harjeet Sajjan's conduct, more questions arise as to how much World Sikh Organization controls these people. And as you know, Harjeet Sajjan was directing Canadian military resources in Afghanistan for the favor of a Sikh charity that falls under the umbrella of World Sikh Organization. And World Sikh Organization is like an umbrella, and all these other little Sikh organizations, they fell under them. This is the real deal, the real organization, because they have, for example, Gyan's daughter is a judge in BC Supreme Court. So they have an arm at the courts. They have many arms throughout political parties and Conservative Party, Liberal, NDP, and they brand themselves as human rights advocates, Sikh rights advocates. But
I just brought it up to show that there's the similarity between the WEF's logo. I'm trying to think of which one it is. I don't know if that is the official logo. The official logo of the WEF, even in color and form, it kind of looks like the WSO, but maybe that's just my okay, that's very cool. Yeah. So is Harjeet Singh, he's no longer the Minister of Defense?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Now he's the Minister of Emergency Preparedness. And that is a portfolio of public safety. And, Dominic LeBlanc, he is the Minister of Public Safety. And he was just interviewed, or he was involved with World Sikh Organization just yesterday, talking about foreign interference and blah, blah, blah. But this organization is very powerful, has many of its members in powerful positions across Canada, and yields a great deal of influence, and it has not been talked about it enough. And I also want to give credit that I was able to create this chart, and I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for Bob Ray. He is a former Sikh. He comes from the inside. He knows all about these people, and thanks to him revealing me all these documents and research, I was able to put together this diagram.
This is wild. So, like, in addition to just the brazen corruption of the Liberal Party, but of, say, politicians in general in Canada, in addition to the Chinese interference and what I now firmly believe that Canada has become a vassal for China, it's arguably also becoming a vassal for India, but not Indian government, the Khalistani offshoot or the Khalistani separatist movement of the Indian government,
right,
only placing its claws in Canadian politics.
Exactly. And, that's why Canadian politics is very busy about Khalistan, about Niger, about this, about that. But we're not as busy as the things that affect ordinary Canadian people on a daily basis. The prices are up, the rent is up, it's becoming unlivable in this country. But our politicians are busy pandering to, small political groups. So
it's wild. Let me think of this. Now, I saw some videos coming out of British Columbia of the Khalistan. I don't know how much stock to put in these videos, because it could just be like a group of idiots either trolling or a small group within a larger Khalistani protest or whatever, saying like, Europeans go home, this is our country now. Is there any recent turmoil or upcoming turmoil?
Well, that video of that individual saying those, highly offensive things,
insurrection-y.
Yeah, like, I think it's racism, and the Sikh groups have denounced him. They said, this is not our guy, we don't associate with him, he is using us to promote his own ideas, we don't, but they only said that after it backfired. And same with the Hindu community. For example, there was some tensions in Brampton, and there was a guy on a megaphone saying, let's storm Sikh temples. And this individual has a history of making inflammatory comments, and the Hindu community disavowed him. But the Khalistanis, they did not accept this. And now vice versa is happening to them. And now they're disavowing their own. And, people are not, they're saying, no, that is yours. And that's the recent turmoil where things are at right now. And, just speak about Nagar Kirtan, this religious events they hold. These are the events where they glorify suicide bombers. They glorify airplane bombers. They glorify terrorists. These are the events that they say it's religious, but this is not religious. And I've been to these events in Calgary, and I've seen RCMP and Calgary police and the armed forces setting up tents to recruit people. I mean, if you're going to set up tents to recruit people at a Khalistan rally, what are you going to get? Well, you're going to get Khalistani police officers who go and participate in the assaults that happened at the Hindu temple in Brampton. He was an off-duty Peel Regional police officer, and now he was suspended. I think now they got him back or something.
He participated in the assault. He was not the victim of it.
No, he participated in it. He was participating at Sikhs for Justice protest in front of a Hindu temple. And Sikhs for Justice, the individual who took over Nijar's role, Mr. Gosel, he was charged with using his wooden flagpole, as a weapon to assault people. And I was in New York, in the United States, where they were holding another protest when the Prime Minister Modi was visiting, and the police confiscated all of their wooden sticks, confiscated all of them, and they arrested one of them and forced them to stay in a caged area to protest. The American police are not messing around. Whereas in Canada, when, in Edmonton last year, for example, they were pushing against the police pushing against them. I was assaulted, and tensions were very high. They carry swords, they carry spears. It's anyone who sees this, they're saying, what the hell is going on here?
That's wild. All right. Well, we're going to keep. I from down in the the southern tip of Florida will keep an eye on what's going on in Canada. But like I missed out. I fell behind on the Khalistani stuff. I was sort of up to speed on the Chinese stuff, but didn't have any idea how deep and how connected these dots are. Mocha, have you run into any problems covering this up in Canada?
Well, yes, I have received many death threats, and I have reported to the police, and they're still looking into it. And other than that, so far, I think they have smartened up now. They are not causing me any trouble. In New Zealand, they were, they gave me exclusive interviews, and it was safe, and I felt safe. So I think this is the result of public backlash, because millions of people saw what I was being put through, and things are better now, seems to be.
Well, touch wood. Okay, well, Mocha, first of all, everyone knows where they can find you. I'll put up your Twitter handle. How can people support you and the work that you're doing?
Well, people can support me at mediabizirgan.com/donate. I operate based on donations because I'm not a government funded entity. I'm not funded by any governments, and it costs a lot of money to do on the ground journalism. And if people support this, I would appreciate it very much.
Oh, I know where that is. That's at Parliament Hill. That's where the
No,
truck.
this is at New Zealand.
Oh, that looked just like Parliament Hill. Okay.
Right. But
well,
yeah,
now Viva opens his big mouth. Look, they're both parliamentary systems, so the buildings look the same.
Right. So basically, I need the support of the people because I am also in a lawsuit with Mayor of Edmonton, Amarjeet Sohi, and
Go on.
His. Sorry.
Go on. I did not. That now everybody can see the spinning wheel of death that I continually get on this computer. What's the lawsuit about?
Well, he is alleging that I have defamed him, and if he wants to go to court about me reporting on his highly questionable conduct, we'll go to court. We'll let the courts determine it. And this is the independent media tax that I came up with. Basically, it's a tax where you choose how much you want to give, as opposed to being taken from you forcefully to fund mainstream media. So that's a funny idea there.
Dude, I'm putting it back up again. I'll share it in our locals community. Mocha, you're doing amazing stuff. It's amazing. You get so deep into a story, and you get deep into the inner workings of this thing, and you got to try to simplify it and make it make sense and keep it engaging in a superficial way.
Exactly.
People are interested in this. No, I think now Canadians are absolutely fed up with what they're seeing in Canada, but there's almost too much of it to deal with. And can you imagine, in all of this, you got the China stuff, you got the India stuff, and turning it into an international row by expelling the Indian diplomats. In all of this, you get the conservatives and the liberals going after Lauren Chen for Russian disinformation. Mm-hmm. It's a distraction.
Well, if I may also say, people who want to learn about this lawsuit, they can check it out at infosohi.com.
Infosohi?
Right.
How do you spell that?
Infosohi.com. INFOSOHI.com. And
okay.
Here you can see my reports about Amarjeet Sohi's highly questionable conduct and the allegations of corruption. And you can see the lawsuit he is threatening to file. And soon you will see our statement of defense.
Dude, how old are you? I have to ask now because you look
25
young, but
now. I'm old.
25?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're a geezer there. Holy cows, Mocha. Okay, amazing. I'm going to share that around. If I may ask, DM me all of the links and then remind me after the stream is up. I'm going to put them in the pinned comment. You're doing great stuff, Mocha.
Well, there are only two links,
I know. I've got them open in the tabs.
Mediabizirgan.com/donate. I've sent it to you. But Thank you very much for having me. I hope it was fruitful conversation.
It's fantastic. I mean, I think everybody's finding out just how I don't want to say how far Canada has fallen. But I'm getting close to saying that the Canadian government, and I think it's a bilateral problem right now. I think it's conservative and liberal. It'll be better with Pierre Poilievre. It'll be better, but only because the destruction will be slower. And then maybe you get a Pierre in, and then maybe you get someone who's a little bit more openly Trumpian in to really clean house, because I think they're both filthy. And this is not doing anything to disprove that theory. So,
right.
Mocha, amazing stuff. We'll be in touch and come back on for sure.
We're going to get back. Canada is going to be back. Strong and better.
From your mouth to God's ears, Mocha.
Thank you very much. Take care.
My pleasure, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
25. And he says he's old. What a little bit. And then, the funny thing, I'm 45 and I say that I'm old. And then my dad's, who's now 81, is like, you shut your mouth, you little bastard. You're young as a... Dude, I have to know how old he is. First of all, let me show you why I had to ask how old he was. Where is the... how did I get to my internet? It was called oh geez, what was it? Sohi? Dude, what was the website that he said? Sohi. It was Info Sohi. Now you'll know why I had to ask him how old he was. Let me just make sure that my messages are not open. Because when you go to Info Sohi, it takes you to a Twitter video. And I'm like, who is this teenage boy in this video? That is Mocha. Come on. I got it. Well, let's hear it.
Interest journalism.
Let's hear this.
The recent legal action initiated by
And if I didn't know any better, I'd say he's on a beach in Florida right there. Bada bing, bada boom, people. Okay, hold on.
the recent legal action initiated by Amarjit Sohi, mayor of Edmonton, is full of defamatory statements about me. More importantly, it is an attack on public interest journalism.
Well, and defamatory statements in legal proceedings benefits typically from litigation immunity, but
It is an abuse of power inconsistent with the liberal democracy that Canada considers itself to be. The statement of claim questions my status as a journalist. However, hours before the claim was
Where
filed,
have we seen this
I was
before?
publicly acknowledged in the Canadian Parliament as an anti-terrorism investigative journalist for my fearless reporting on Khalistani extremism by an MP. It is important to note that prior to my publications, I reached out to Mayor Sohi with inquiries in good faith, which he did not address. The allegations I have reported are supported by extensive documentation. I view this legal action as a politically motivated attempt to silence whistleblowers and intimidate journalists who report on large-scale government corruption. I am prepared to defend myself vigorously with strong legal representation. I stand firmly by my reporting. A politician taking legal action against an independent journalist who has uncovered matters of public interest
it's bullshit.
contradicts Canadian values and principles. I invite everyone to view my journalism regarding this matter at infosohi.com. I call upon Canadians who value transparency and integrity to stand with me in this fight against Amarjit Sohi's unethical actions. We must not allow politicians to set a dangerous precedent, undermining honest reporting. I encourage those who wish to support the cause of defending the principles of a free press to visit infosohi.com. Thank you.
Well, the irony, the weird thing is Info Sohi brings you to that tweet, but go check it out. I'll put up all the links afterwards. And there's some rants to get to, some chats to get to. Let me see what's going on over on vivabarneslaw.locals.com, some tip questions to get to. But before we do all of that, hold on one second. Close this tab. Let's maximize value of the, what's the word? The processing data of the computer. Before we get there, people, last sponsor of the day, a Rumble partner. And I'm getting one of these. I'm getting a wallet like this because my current Starbucks little floppy thing is torn apart and I want this. So I'm getting one. But by the way, 60% of US adults have had their data hacked or exposed. Relying on big tech or the government for protection, that is like trusting Kamala Harris to answer a question or spend her campaign money wisely. Don't hold your breath. 5G freeze Faraday laptop and phone holders aren't just cases. They're total signal shutdown for your devices. Slip your gear inside, you block everything. EMF, radiation, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular tracking, all of it gone. Not only does this protect your privacy, but it also keeps you safe from constant EMF exposure, which has been linked to potential health risks. With 5G free, your device stays dark and your info stays protected. Visit 5G free. The letter 5, the capital letter G like golf, free like freedom.com. Promo code VIVA gets you 15% off. Protect yourself and your data. 5gfree.com. Promo code VIVA for 15% off. Thank you to our sponsors. Check them out. The links are all in the description of this video. Okay, now I saw this one from a while back. Shanti Hum. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you didn't mean to put a comment in there. And now we're going to go over to the Rumble where I see Ginger Ninja in the house, the man who made this chessboard, not the pieces, behind me. Viva, sorry, long time, no rant. Been busy and watching on replay of late. Good to catch you live. I need 3 things. Your darkest black pill, your brightest white pill, Winston proof of life. Darkest black pill? False flag nuclear detonation somewhere in Europe that they try to blame on Russia to then justify a wholesale nuking of Russia. That's my darkest of black pills. Let me rephrase that actually. The darkest of black pills is a subaquatic nuclear detonation that causes a tsunami that washes over all of Florida and sweeps us all to our horrible, horrible deaths. It's not going to happen. It's good to verbalize these things. Like I picture, like, what would the a nuclear tsunami look like? How big would it be? How far away would we see it? What would it feel like? Could I get in my kayak and try to ride it out? Could I throw on some life jackets and hope to float it out? Who knows? Quinston, proof of life. Hello. He's a little bastard. He smells terrible. I gave him a bath. Let me see this. Yeah, let me take. Okay, well, here, hold on. Let's bring this out. We got Winston. He's clean. He's so look at his stupid face. Like he has no idea what's going on. Okay, he's alive. Pudge also still alive. Don't know how, but she is still alive and looking better than ever. And the brightest of white pill. How many days left? The brightest of white pills is that no matter how hard they try to blow up the frickin' earth and reign over the ashes, rule over the ashes, they can't do it because ultimately people are more reasonable. And ultimately, this is going to sound like a there are bigger, in as much as they've demonized, like I don't trust government, period. In this conflict involving Russia, it could have escalated already had someone been playing, what's the word? Had someone taken the hook, so to speak. So I think what's going to happen here, you're actually going to rely on the restraint of your so-called enemy. And Putin is, you can't rely on the good sense of Zelensky. They get the permission to use ATACMS, ATACMs, what a beautiful acronym. And he uses it. And we're relying on the restraint of the so-called enemy, the so-called devil, to not retaliate and not escalate where there could have been escalation easily over the last 2 years. It's not to say it's not a terrible war. It's a terrible war among two, I would say, corrupt governments in Eastern Europe. It's not an international war. It's not a world war, and it could have been resolved had the West not said this is a good opportunity to try to deplete our Russian adversary of their military infrastructure and economy. And all that they've done is depleted the U.S. military and destroyed the U.S. economy. Okay. The white pill is justice will prevail, bigger brains will prevail, and Daddy's coming home on January 20th. Daddy with his entire daddy team, which involves some mommies. That sounds very bad. TX47, Viva Fry, I know a minimal amount about politics in India, but I do suggest you watch PBS Frontline documentary on Vice President Dick Cheney to know more about the Sikhs and how they came here. All right, and I'm not your buddy guy, still in the ICU fighting pneumonia. And they're going to jack you full of antibiotics. Try to sit by the window and get some sunlight and get better. I'm not your buddy guy. Yeah, pneumonia is a long, lingering thing. Okay, and let's go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for some tipped questions. We got Encryptus. Would be great to see a countdown timer on the intro video. Yeah, the logo is covering over the countdown timer. I'll do it and move the countdown timer to the other side. Bill Brown, Thomas Sowell's glasses. Okay, hold on. This is I don't know if this is real, but Bill Brown has some good memes and this looks funny, so I'm going to bring this up. I haven't read it yet. If it's bad, Stephen King says, I'm leaving Twitter. Tried to stay, but the atmosphere has just become too toxic. Follow me on Threads if you like. It's too, quote, toxic for the guy that wrote chapter 22 of It. Well, there were better ways to end that one. Plus, is that true? That dipshit always says that. Let me see something here. Twitter. Did he really leave? Who the heck am I going to make fun of if he leaves? And I'm going to have to go with my standard Stephen. It can't be real. Stephen King. Stephen King. Hold on. Oh, November 14, he's out? And he nuked all of his tweets? What a... Hold on, people. Breaking news. A man nobody cares about who's going to regret this decision. He actually did it. That son of a bitch actually did it. Stephen King. I'm leaving. Tried to stay, but and he deleted. It's an amazing thing, by the way. Let me see. Show more. Yeah. This a-hole is saying it got too toxic. You should have seen the tweets that I know that he deleted. Toxic. Get the out. Let's cue that meme up. Hold on 1 second. Let's go here. Who can reply? Oh, only the people, the author can. Okay, well, let's just go like this. We're going to go like this, and we're going to do obligatory. And we're going to go here, and we're going to do get the out. And there should be a good Jeremy Piven. That's the one we want to say. Bye-bye, Stephen King. Okay. Awesome. I feel like I've accomplished something today. And then we got Boopsy says, you read it so fast I sometimes can't understand, particularly at the end of the show, reading chat questions. Can you slow down a little for that? Boopsy, I will try. Finboy Slick says, it might not need to be a false flag. ATACMS hit in Bryansk, Russia this morning. No, they're hitting in well, hold on, let's see what that means. No, well, okay, so this is what this is the known part of this. So let's bring this up here, and I'll bring up the tweet afterwards. So ATACMs flew more than 140 kilometers and hit a target in Bryansk region, Russia. This means that the strike permit applies not only to Krushnia, as the Western media wrote about it. This attack also showed that the air defense of the Russian Federation will have big problems with Ukrainian missiles. Meanwhile, threatens a nuclear war attack on Kyiv and NATO countries. I heard that all 6 were intercepted. So there's going to be a lot of fog of war here. Forget it. But bottom line, they're going to do it. It's not. Okay, hold on. Let me bring up my tweet. Forget. I'm not going to bring up the tweet. I tweeted my thoughts this morning, shared it in our locals community. Okay, so they're authorized to use long-range missiles that are provided by America to strike within Russia. That was a red line that Putin said could lead to a nuclear response. First of all, it's like trying to sucker punch a bear. Like these strikes, they won't do anything. I mean, they're going to say they're going to try to hit Russian troops that are built up or armaments that are being supplied, whatever. So they're arguing that it's going to have a strategic advantage on the war. I don't. Depending on the volume, I would be skeptical of that. What this is a symbolic gesture that we're crossing another red line, and we're begging you, Putin, we're begging you to escalate this so that we can then escalate in turn and say, you did this, not us. And yet we're relying on the restraint of Putin to not escalate it because A, we'll see what actual damage any of this causes, and B, we'll see if Putin can just wait it out for the administration that will make peace and not war to come into office. This is a desperate attempt by a deep state apparatus that wants to, above all else, maximize the profits of war, and they've got nothing to lose. You got shithead McGee, Adam Shit for Brains McSchiff, drumming up the war movement. Go fight, Schiff. Please, you go to the front lines. And no, that's not a threat or a death threat. Go fight in the front lines if you believe so much in it. If you imagine the balls and the audacity of these elitist prick politicians who have no skin in the game, by and large, no family in the game, saying, yeah, we're gonna fight until your last dollar, America, and then after your last dollar, we're gonna fight with your last son and daughter. Go fight, Adam Schiff, and do the world a favor. And this is a dying gasp of a dying beast that is saying, oh. Well, first of all, I read an interesting theory that they're trying to, just authorize the disposal or the use of antiquated or old versions of these bombs, these missiles, so they can manufacture new ones. So they can say, okay, well, here, take them all. We don't need them anymore. They're antiquated and outdated, and we'd like to build some new ones. So after we give you these under the guise of aid to fund this war, we can then finance the military-industrial complex and the government contractors to build more of them. Apparently, like $2 million a warhead, $2 million a missile, something along those lines. So it's amazingly profitable. You get to dispose of your old inventory and then rebuild the new inventory, make the money while doing it, and just hope that you don't spark World War III while doing it. Scum of the earth, evil in the biblical sense is what I said. Okay, and that's it. Okay, we have been for far too long on CommieTube. So get your butts on over. Well, hold on one second. I'm going to read the biltong. Get your butts on over to Crumble, where we will carry on with this party. And then we will go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. But right now, because I saw it, and we want to give King of Biltong the value for his Crumble rant. King of Biltong says, add your Add Biltong to your stocking stuffers this season. Healthy diet protein snacks packed with B12, zinc, iron, creatine, and more. Get some at Biltong USA. Sticks 10, but I think he means Viva 10. It doesn't matter. Go give Sticks the credit. It doesn't matter. In fact, go do it now and see whose crowd generates more through clicks. Biltong is amazing. I've got many bags in my fridge and many bags in my belly. Well, it's technically no longer in my belly, but you know what I mean. And then King of Biltong says, we stream Friday and Sunday, 4 p.m., 3 p.m. Central. Shit talking whilst cooking real food. Follow our channel. Eat at Anton's or link right there. Anton, thank you very much. All right, now we're leaving ComicTube. Come on over to Rumble. We've got Judge Marchand and we've got Kamala Harris's. You won't believe these numbers. Ending on YouTube.